So after the meeting, there are box lunches across the hall in this morning. So grab one of those, get upstairs. Did you guys hear that? After the meeting, there are box lunches across the hall. You can pick one up and take it upstairs. Yeah, we're meeting upstairs. So after the hearing, then we'll go up and have our frequently after the meeting, we'll go over to seafood. You probably think killers too.
Oh, yeah.
It's quite warm here today. All right, welcome everyone. I see it's 5 o'clock, and City Council will open this portion of this joint meeting of the City Council Planning and Zoning at 5 p.m. and City Council does have a quorum. Chairman?
Oh, is that on?
I got it. Is that everybody here? Okay. Great. So planning and zoning is here, and we have a quorum for our meeting on January 6th, 5 p.m.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to separate the public comments into the specific public hearing. If you're here to speak specifically about the PUD that we're discussing tonight, that should happen in item 2, which is a specific public hearing, which we'll call for after the public comments. So we'll do public comments if someone is just here for a general comment about something. We'll open the public hearing. Assistant City Manager Landis will give a presentation, then we'll ask for anybody who would want to come up to speak. So at this time, item 1, public comments and announcements. At this time, we would like to listen to any member of the audience on any subject matter, whether or not the item is on the agenda. All comments are limited to a maximum of 4 minutes for each speaker, shall be limited to city business or city-related business or matters of general public interest, and shall not include any personal attacks or abusive language. All public remarks shall be addressed to the chair. Comments shall not be directed toward individual council members, city staff, or other members of the public. In accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, members may not discuss or take action on any item that has been posted on the agenda. When your name is called, please come to the podium, state your name and address clearly into the microphone before making your comments. Thank you. I have 2 names here, but they're both agenda item listed there talking about the zoning change PUD. Is that correct? So you'll wait till the, okay, thank you. So we'll now open the public hearing. Item 2, specific public hearing. 2.1, conduct a joint public hearing on a request for approval for amendments to ordinance number 2024-11, Quiet Warehouse PUD Plan Unit Development. At 5:02, Sean Landis, Deputy City Manager and Planning and Zoning Director, will give presentation first, and then we'll ask for comments.
So good evening, Mayor and Council. Welcome back from the holidays. As the Mayor just stated, Starship Texas City LLC is requesting approval for an amendment to Ordinance 2024-11 Quiet Warehousing PUD Plan Unit Development. The purpose of the amendment is to include modifications to the exterior finishes of the structure from tilt wall construction to pre-finished metal wall panels, updating the warehouse development schedule and revising required exhibits. This PUD was approved prior to many of you being on council, so I'm going to kind of go through some information just so that it kind of brings you guys up to speed. The site is currently undeveloped and situated between a developed RV park and the undeveloped parcel of land. The property located at 5815 Old 146, Seabrook, Texas 77586 lies east of Old 146, north of Red Bluff and south of Port Road. The site is currently zoned C2 with a PUD overlay. So this PUD has been approved. All they're requesting is an amendment to the PUD. The surrounding area is industrial character at this time. A large warehouse, Transwestern, was recently constructed north of this site. And a lot of the property adjacent to this site is owned by the port. And at some point in time, there'll be port-related activities at that location. Currently, the warehouse facility final PUD aligns with the city comprehensive master plan, which basically states the development aims to promote high-quality development in Seabrook by providing flexibility to address various site characteristics, constraints, location, and land uses. As I stated, this PUD was approved by a prior council, and it was approved on September 3rd, 2024. Just to give you an overview of where it's located, As I stated in my description, all this property right here located north of this site is all port property. We have a active PUD for a freezer warehouse, which is at this location. And the property owner who owns this property and who's proposing this project or is hoping to develop this project, he owns the trailer park property to the south. He owns this property, and he just recently purchased this tract adjacent to it. So he owns all the property adjacent to it. Everything except the stuff that goes back to the east, and the most of the east property, as you guys are aware, is owned by the Lazaris. This is just a blown up version of what I just showed you. It kind of highlights the location of the property. The site plan of this property, this is the site plan. What's approved currently in the PUD is two 24,000 square foot warehouses. What I want to highlight, when I put my agenda briefing together, I have to apologize, you guys. I made some mistakes. In my agenda briefing, as I read this section right here in my statement, this is actually in your agenda briefing, and somehow I was using a template and I left in a reference to the freezer warehouse. There's no plans to put a freezer warehouse at this location. I want to highlight that. Currently, it's two 24,000 square foot buildings, and they're looking for tenants to go in these buildings. So there hasn't been any design plans to put a freezer warehouse in this location. The other thing I want to highlight in your packet, the actual ordinance that I drafted, there's a typo at the top of it. All that is the ordinance document. The caption and everything, content within the ordinance document itself speaks directly to this. The first reading of the ordinance, everything on the agenda is correct, so you don't have to worry about that. But there's a typo at the top. There's a reference to the freezer warehouse. I used a template for that ordinance, and somehow I missed that when I put it in the packet. It has been corrected, and if it's approved tonight, when it goes through second reading, that'll be corrected and it'll be signed, and it'll address the facts that this is the Quiet Warehouse PUD. So this is an exhibit out of the original PUD that's been approved. And again, it references tilt wall construction. There's no allowance for pre-finished metal panels. There are two different types of construction. One's concrete, one's pre-metal panels. This is what they're requesting. And one of the things when I had conversations with the developer, they're requesting this because there's some economic issues with the tilt wall construction. And this is the same material that we approve for the freezer warehouse. So it's not something that hasn't already been approved in the area. The freezer warehouse is this type of material. And when I had conversations with them, they felt it would be fair and equitable if they were able to do this, even though the freezer warehouse actually fronts State Highway 146. And they're here and they can speak to some of this. So again, just these are the exhibits that will be in the plan. Secondarily, again, there's a typo on this document. It wasn't changed and it wasn't fixed because this is the exhibit right out of the approved plan that's been approved already. So that's why there's a typo and it hasn't been fixed. But this is the original development schedule, and they show that the first quarter of this year, they would be finishing this project. They haven't started construction. However, they have submitted all their drawings and documents for preliminary review. So all the documents, all the stuff that they're showing on this updated version of their schedule for the third quarter of 2025 and first quarter of 2026, this is already pretty much finished. It's ready to go. As you can see in the update to this schedule, they're showing that they feel they can be complete with the project by first quarter of 2027. That concludes my presentation to you all. The applicant is here if you have questions for him, and I welcome any questions you may have for me.
Jared, you had something?
So just for conference, so this has nothing to do with the freezer warehouse, correct?
It has nothing to do with
I know there was a lot of talk about that.
And
so
there is, and I'm going to take full responsibility for that. I had conversations with the mayor and Gail. It was typo mistakes. I was working off of template documents, and I missed a couple things that I put in. And I fixed it in my presentation, but I didn't fix it on the documents that I put in.
And so you mentioned that it's going to have the prefab is the same as the Fraser warehouse. Will it be kind of like matching as far as like uniformity, do we know, or?
Right now in the exhibits that they're showing, it's almost the same exact color palette. I mean, the freezer warehouse is shown to be white and blue and almost the same tone of blue. So I think there's some flexibility if they want to change the colors. There's nothing in the PUD that defines the colors. They show this just kind of as an exhibit, but I think that's a conversation you can have with them.
Do you have a cutaway of the material? So we can see if it's insulated, what the wall actually looks like? Do you have a cutaway?
I don't. None of that
Okay,
detail,
so maybe
none
they
of that
can, maybe
details.
they can answer that question then.
That's correct. But none of that details in this. This is all about land use. All those other issues with the insulation, the type of use, it's pretty flexible within the current PUD document. All of it states is they can't have those intensive uses that are prohibited within LI. So when we went through the process of approving this initially, there was always concerns what can go in this warehouse. And we went through the process of making sure that light industrial district that we currently have has prohibitions against heavy manufacturing, storage of hazardous materials, all that. That stuff's all in the PUD document now currently that says they can't have those type of things in this building.
If you kind of do Google searches on this stuff, they talk about how it's pre-insulated and stuff like that on the.
It can't,
As long as it's ordered that way, and I'm asking the question.
Yeah.
Is it ordered that way? Is that planned? And are we having an insulated, wall rather than a concrete?
Your microphone's not on time.
Kind of hence is the name Quiet Warehouse. I just was trying to figure that out.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. I was thinking cold, you're thinking.
The applicants here, you guys are more willing to come up and speak to this if you.
And just to be clear, the discussion tonight is this is an existing PUD. It's a done deal, more or less. We're just discussing the materials for construction.
And that's exactly what I'm talking
And a
about.
timeline. Okay,
Yeah.
just for the folks in the audience who came in late. So.
So yes, I can speak on that. It's a pre-engineered metal building design. It does come with insulation. So they give us the option, you can buy it from them or you can buy it from another distributor, but it does meet.
but in this particular case, it is already been ordered. It is part of the
It
installation.
will be part of the installation,
Okay,
yes.
that's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, it's going to be insulated. You'll have more insulation in your office than you do in your warehouse.
Anyone else before I ask for public comments?
Sean, I had a couple of things. You made the comment that this is valid, so we're really just talking about schedule and materials. The other thing is, you didn't mention anything about the port property, but they're more than likely to put in, when they're doing the warehousing close to this, are going to be probably doing the same thing for cost reasons, right?
There will be, at some point in time, there'll be a port-related operation on the port property. They haven't shared with us what it's going to be and what shape or form it's going to be, but they did acquire that property to put some sort of port activity on that location.
The other thing I was going to mention, this is kind of generally, people have been around here long enough know that when Marine Max got built, it had nothing but just a solid panel, and it really just set people off. You look at it now, it looks very nice. And what I like about this is there are some reliefs to it, so they've gotten more sophisticated on what they can do with metal. So in my mind, that we've come a long way. So a lot of our resentment of metal and how it looks, I've gotten over it when I see some of the stuff that's been done recently.
Is this the same property that we did the PUD on for the same owners of the RV park
I
that was
can't hear
represented?
you.
Is this the same property that the RV park owners directly beside it, we approved that one? Is
That's
it the same
correct.
property? Okay.
That's correct, yeah. So at one point in time, when we initially reviewed this, there was concerns of impacts to adjacent properties. This individual owns all the adjacent property, then all the property that's zoned back to the east, at some point in time, there's a portion in the comp plan that shows it could be this type of use, and then the rest of it turns into more of a general commercial type use.
I'd be interested to know the initial timeline by that.
Mike.
Or what we'll be looking
Here,
at.
oops, sorry. Just pass it.
The question was just what happened with the original timeline and what we're looking at moving forward.
So we set up a budget for it and did some exploration on options, and once you get into this, if we were to go back to that site plan, you start looking at the site plan, and there's a lot of underground detention on this project. And the problem with that is those tilt walls have to be braced. And so typically you would pour what's called a dead man in the ground, set your brace on it, and that holds your wall. With all this underground detention, there's not that much space there, and you risk penetrating your pipe that's underground. Cause for what's called a helical pier, and that's a big system. You have to have a lot of people come in, install it. The timeline and the budget just didn't work on that.
Angela, just something?
Yeah, I have a couple questions. Excuse me, sorry.
It's okay.
Well, first is a comment, this is the entrance into Seabrook. So we approved it with the concrete wall, much more aesthetically pleasing. Now I feel like it's almost a bait and switch. We're going back, we're getting a metal building. This is what, when people enter into Seabrook, this is what they're going to see. So I just want everybody, as you're voting, to keep that in mind, because contrary to what Gary Renola says, it's not attractive. It looks industrial. The second question that I wanted to ask is, are there any studies, or do you know, because as Councilor Tollett said, it's a quiet warehouse of concrete versus the metal exterior?
I believe the name is misleading you to think that quiet is to stop the sound. The name of quiet warehousing is more of where it is. It's kind of quietly tucked in back there by an RV park. That's where the name came from.
So do we know if there's any studies or?
I don't know if there's any sound studies to be performed on it. It's a basic warehouse.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I have a question, just real quick, just more like curiosity. Are you looking, when you build this, like, will you have a tenant, or are you gonna be like operating out of it?
They'll be looking for tenants.
Okay.
Is it true that the owner of this owns, like, 'cause I was sitting here when that original presentation was made, about 50 trucks or a fleet of trucks?
Not that I know of.
Because that's what was stated during that original presentation.
No, Mr. Monroe didn't have a fleet of trucks. That's
Okay,
not part of Starship's design.
okay. That statement was made, so,
I
okay,
don't know where it
thank
came
you.
from. Sorry.
If there's nothing else, if either of the two people, Deborah DeLucia or Robert Seller, Deborah, you're here first. If you wanted to make a comment or a statement based on the information that we have now, you're welcome to.
I was still concerned about the,
Would you come up to the microphone, please? Yeah. Sorry. I know. Wake it up. Stamp it. Wake it up.
I was still concerned mostly about the refrigeration
Oh.
deal. So I know that now that's a done deal. But just for the sake of it and for people's safety and awareness, I Googled what has happened with some of these places in just the past year since this passed. In the past year, late 2024 through 2025, significant ammonia refrigeration warehouse accidents included a major July 2024 release at Cuisine Solutions in Virginia, hospitalizing 33 workers due to poor emergency planning, and an April 2025 leak at Riverside's Lineage Cold Storage, sending 8 to the hospital. Other incidents included ammonia leaks at Roane, USA, Bay City, Texas, and a fatal accident at an H-E-B warehouse in San Antonio. I'm still very concerned about all these. I don't think Seabrook has enough planning for inspections, response, evacuation plans in case of accidents. And the other thing is, that's just on that refrigeration. On this stuff right here, yes, I agree. This is the beginning of our city. Coming into it, it's going to look just like driving down Red Bluff Road with nothing but warehouses. It's not appealing to any new businesses to come into a city that is just given over to this kind of a presence. And that's all I've got to say today.
Thank you. Just to reiterate, this is not a freezer warehouse, so don't be confused about that. Okay, thank you.
I'm still concerned about that.
Yes, ma'am. Robert?
Yes, hello. Hello, Mayor, Council, P&Z staff. All right. Yeah, my name is Robert Zeller. I live at 2926E Channel Drive and citizen of Seabrook. My background, I served on the Planning and Zoning Commission for the City of League City for a number of years in early 2000s and helped write a lot of the ordinances associated with zoning. I'm a PhD chemical engineer, and I have 35 years working in the chemical industry and spent a lot of years up on the Houston Ship Channel. So when I looked at the PUD that was offered here in the amendment, I would take a little exception. I think the fact that they're asking for an amendment it opens up the entire PUD. And so if the original design of the PUD was perhaps in retrospect needed to be adjusted or modified, now is the opportunity to do that. In the title, I appreciate you talking about the freezer warehouse and taking responsibility for that. That did generate a lot of confusion. So I'm not sure if the city attorney, and you said the second reading will make this all good, so I don't know if this needs to be reposted or redone at all, but I think the city attorney and I think the mayor said that this is going to, you said through the second reading will be all fine. So I just want to make sure that everything is done appropriately. So assuming the developer, I was surprised to hear the developer also owns and operates the RV park. I've had family, stay in the RV park. I've had a number of coworkers that are seasonal workers that actually travel to the area, stay at that RV park, and then work, outages, plant outages as craftsmen. And when I looked at the design and where the placement was, the tilt wall construction, first of all, is a superior technology, a superior design. The metal is an easier way to do that. And yes, they referred to the freezer, the other warehouses. Oh, there's precedent there. Well, the difference is there's a 15-foot setback between the edge of the warehouse and the back of the RV park where people are parking. You have a 15-foot buffer. You have light industrial that requires a 35-foot setback. You've already compromised that. What's between people and a warehouse that's going to contain lithium-ion batteries and whatever else that will release toxic fumes in the event of a fire? Yeah. A chain link fence, 6 feet tall, with 3 rows of barbed wire. So just like you and the Planning and Zoning Commission required the PUD for the freezer project, you required an 8-foot masonry concrete wall between the Comfort Inns and the hotels and the freezer warehouse as a sound buffer. That land distance, or that distance there, is significantly greater in that freezer warehouse project as opposed to the quiet warehouse project here. So I would propose that you amend the PUD as they're asking and ask for an 8-foot concrete masonry wall for both safety purposes as well as sound abatement. The lighting itself, I looked at the lighting survey, and just because of the proximity to the RV park, it's going to be, you got overhead lights, you got backlights within 15 feet of the people that live there as part of bringing money into the community and spending their money that they're earning on the ship channel down here into the community. It's not going to be a desirable place to stay. So I would suggest looking at the lighting plan again, challenge the way that's set up and making it more conducive so tramp light doesn't go into the RV park, even though they're both the same owners. And then with regard to the 8-foot wall, yes, there are hundreds of people that are in that proximity to that quiet warehouse. We don't know what's going to go into that warehouse. So I would encourage the fire department to develop a relationship with the warehouse, do safety checks, do reviews of how the systems are set up on an annual basis. It's normally done in chemical plants and other warehouses. You invite the fire department in, you show them what you got. So in case there's a problem, they're better prepared to go in with SCBAs, whatever safety equipment that's required there. So the distance between hundreds of people and a warehouse is 15 feet. And so I would encourage the P&Z, the city council, to consider that and reconsider some of the decisions that were made back a couple of years ago. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, anyone else that I missed? Thank you. I think we'll hear from P&Z now on your opinions about the project, and then we can express our opinions, and then we'll go into our corners.
Does anybody have any questions? Otherwise, we'll just go upstairs. And we can, and when I go upstairs, I'll clarify more about tilt wall and what that looks like.
Nothing else? If nothing else,
And so P&Z, after this meeting, P&Z will meet upstairs and we will take this and have a discussion and vote on the amendments. So after this.
okay, anyone else? All right, if not, we'll close this public hearing at 5:25. We'll come back here at 6 o'clock for our regular city council meeting. Thank you all. Gary, would you adjourn your meeting?
What'd you say?
Just adjourn for your group. Go ahead and adjourn for your group.
And I adjourn planning and zoning for the meeting, formal meeting upstairs. And
Thank you.
it's 5:25.